Today I want to speak to you a little bit about emetophobia, or what's commonly known as a fear of being sick, just to give you some information on what the problem entails and how we use hypnosis to resolve the issue. So what exactly is emetophobia? Well, obviously a fear or a phobia is irrational, but in the particular case of an emetophobe, they find the thought of themselves either being sick or vomiting a horrific thought. Even the thought sometimes of somebody else being sick, or even the thought of them being ill near them, is enough to make them take steps to avoid coming across that situation at all costs. Emetophobia is an anxiety disorder, and as such we treat it just like any anxiety complaint with any of our customers. So what exactly are the symptoms that an emetophobic may feel? Well, they certainly feel anxious, or as we would describe it as well, hypervigilant. In other words, always looking out for danger as something going to happen. They may experience in extreme situations severe panic attacks because of the problem. They certainly will avoid germs or anyone who's being ill. They may refuse to eat out in places where they've not actually prepared the food, and that means even at friends' houses. For women, they may avoid pregnancy completely because they worry about morning sickness. Certainly they will have issues maybe going to doctor's appointments or even to doctor's surgeries because they're around other people who may be ill. And in some cases it's so bad they'll have difficulty even leaving the house in case they come across that situation. So where does that fear originate from? Well, as with many of our clients, the problem usually starts in childhood. For example, imagine that you're a small little kid, you wake up in the middle of the night, you feel really ill, and then you start to be sick. There's no one around to help you for a certain amount of time, and you begin to panic. That is terrifying if you're 3, 4, or 5 years old, and that trauma sticks with you. It might not seem a trauma as an adult, but to a child it seems much bigger. Once that trauma has occurred, the child will do anything it can to avoid the situation happening again. As the avoidance gets worse, the problem, of course, also seems to get bigger because the avoidance is making it seem much, much worse than it actually is. If you think about it, if we're ill, it's usually over relatively quickly. But the fear of being sick is lasting for months and years. Emetophobia, in many cases, can last well into adulthood, and unless something's done with it, people have been known to have this condition in their 40s, 50s, even 60s. So how does hypnotherapy help with the problem? Well, first of all, we begin by tackling the background anxiety. We have to tackle that in order to reduce the background fear. Once we've done that, we start to teach our clients methods to break the panic cycle that they're feeling. And we use positive visualizations and suggestion under hypnosis to increase feelings of calm. With some clients, we may go back through their memories to discover the origin of the problem, because that can sometimes help to lessen the impact. We'll do future mental rehearsal so the client can get used to the thought of being in the stressful situations they previously would have feared, but under hypnosis, because they'll be calm and the actual situation won't be happening to them, they'll be able to rehearse everything so that they can teach themselves to feel calm. In some situations, we'll also use exposure therapy, and that can help them to desensitize themselves to the problem. Sessions would somebody who suffers from a fear of being sick need? Well, as with any anxiety disorder, we usually hold our sessions 1 to 2 weeks apart, and typically a client's with us for around 3 to 6 sessions. The number of sessions will depend on whether they're experiencing any other issues. For example, if somebody has depression and OCD, then they need to be taken up with the treatment, and that may prolong it. In other people, we may find that we're able to cure it relatively quickly in only a couple of sessions if we're able to reduce that anxiety pretty quickly. We work alongside GPs, CBT practitioners, and counsellors in order to help our clients resolve their issue as quickly as possible. Hypnotherapy for emetophobia is highly successful at helping manage your emetophobia and in many cases eradicating the issue completely. If you would like to contact us to talk more about the problem that you may be experiencing, then you can reach us at Balance Hypnotherapy Nottingham and simply call us today on 01 636 650 521 and we'll be happy to have a quick chat with you on the phone and let you know how we can work with you to resolve the